We have a large faculty of staff based, across the world internationally. And so we bring a whole wealth of experience. We pride ourselves on smaller class sizes. We like to get to know the students. We like to make them feel at ease.
Hi, welcome to Slate, your very own school search engine that helps you find the best schools for your kid based on various filters and parameters. Today, we have Miss Helen, who's the educator at GoSchool. It's an online hybrid school modeling, and we would like to speak to her and know about the GoSchool and also how online or / hybrid school works. Thank you so much for joining us, ma'am.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
Great. So, can you tell us more about what this GoSchool is all about and your experience of working there?
Okay, yeah, certainly. So GoSchool is very much a hybrid school. So it works on the model of some in-person, face-to-face teaching, as well as online learning as well. So it is that very much a blend of those two things. I've been working with them as a teacher of biology for the past academic year. So I work with them in that capacity as a biology teacher, an A-level biology teacher and GCSE. And my experience has been, extremely positive. We have a large, faculty of staff based, across the world internationally. And so we bring a whole wealth of experience to this institution, which is GoSchool. So yeah, it's been a really exciting place to work.
Great. And what are the usual concerns that the parents are likely to have while joining their kid in an online school or hybrid school, whether the syllabus that they're teaching is good enough for the student or not? At GoSchool, which syllabus do you guys follow?
Yeah, so we use the Pearson Edexcel international syllabus and the Cambridge International. So both of those are very, very highly esteemed, well-recognised examination boards. So it's Pearson, Edexcel and Cambridge International. So, parents don't need to worry at all. We're following those specifications. We've been accredited. It was a very, very rigorous process to get the accreditation. So those exam boards don't just let any school, teach their syllabus. We are accredited. So yeah, that should hopefully settle parents' concerns on that question.
Got it. And how's the online atmosphere like during the classroom? What sort of interaction can a student expect? Are the teachers accessible in case if the parents or students have any questions, and how does that work out?
Okay, yeah, so obviously we have a timetable. So each student has their own individual timetable for their lessons, depending on the subjects that they've chosen. So obviously there are timetabled lessons throughout the day. Within those lessons, they're very small class sizes. Again, it depends on the subject. Sometimes it could just be, one or two students in the class, sometimes a bigger group, a slightly bigger group than that. But generally, we pride ourselves on smaller class sizes. It's very personable, the interactions. It's not incredibly formal. We like to get to know the students. We like to make them feel at ease. So yeah, we do deliberately aim to be approachable in those lessons. So if a student wants to obviously ask questions, ask us to go through something again, that can all happen within the lesson. It's not just a case of being told information. It's very much a dialogue between the teacher and the students. I've had a few cases where parents have contacted me outside of the lessons via email with any questions, and we can always arrange, online meetings or obviously exchange over email. Students are in regular contact with us as well, either through our school email or we have a learning management system, a GoSchool specific learning management system where the students can contact us and message us via that. So it's very, very interactive. Teachers are accessible, by parents or students anytime. So yeah, I think that is part of the beauty of being online. You don't have to wait for the next school day to be able to make contact.
Got it. And in an online schooling atmosphere or hybrid, assessments becomes very tricky. And how does it happen at GoSchool? How often are kids assessed, and what sort of methodology is followed while assessing the student?
Yeah, we've had really, really regular assessment, just as you would in any regular school. It's been no different to that in a way. So at the start of the year, it's all timetabled and set out according to the school calendar. So students and parents know in advance exactly when the assessments will be. In terms of the running and the management of the assessment, the teachers will make the assessments available online onto the LMS system. So it will go live at a specified time. The student will access it. They can carry out the assessment either online or on paper. We tend to use a proctoring mode, so it allows us to, observe the student. We would go off camera, we would stay off mic, but we can observe the student. They would carry out the assessment, as I say, either on paper and then scan it and upload it, or they can do it online. And obviously we would then just mark that assessment as you would with any regular assessment in a classroom situation, and feedback in the same way. So they would get personalised feedback via the learning management system. So they would know exactly when their feedback had been made available. They can access it. They can, make improvements, make changes. I would say that the assessments are probably every term. Sometimes more often, just depending on if the need arises. If the individual subject teacher felt we think we need like a mid-term assessment, we have done those as well. But for example, in biology this academic year, we've done three main assessments, kind of split the academic year into thirds and have 3 main assessments where the students had plenty of time to prepare and revise. They knew which topics would be on it. And like I say, the assessment was done using a proctoring mode online. Some of our subjects, so for example, the biology practical, it has a practical component to the assessment. And that's where the hybrid model has worked particularly effectively, because students have been able to go actually on campus and carry out their practicals, with supervision, with experts, and be able to get feedback on their practical work in a face-to-face way. So we've had kind of practical assessments in person, face-to-face. That's because it's a science-based subject. And we've had written assessments done online, in real time, online. And we are aware that some of the big exam boards are now moving towards online assessments in the coming years. So GoSchool is very mindful of kind of moving with the times and, finding ways to do rigorous assessment, but just, perhaps moving away from the more traditional methods, but keeping that element of rigor in there.
Interesting. And speaking about the parental involvement here, because I believe the expectations of the parents and the management, both of them should be on the same page in order to ensure that the student gets the most out of this entire process. Now, what sort of involvement do you expect from a parent in terms of online schooling and / hybrid schooling?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting question. I think it's the same with any traditional schooling. We need dialogue between the school and the parents. I know that parents are invited to, online meetings at the start of the year to introduce, the school, how all the processes work. There are regular parents meetings, just as there would be in a traditional school. We have parents meetings, parent-teacher meetings, where we've had the students present or not present, depending on their preference. We obviously feedback regularly with all the assessment feedback. So parents get reports. I think we've probably had at least 3 reports home to parents, maybe even 4 in one academic year. So they get regular reports. So a written report from each subject teacher with the progress of their student. And then obviously we would hope that the parents would then support the school to support the student and obviously get them to act on that feedback, to encourage. But yeah, it's very, very much encouraged, the dialogue, because obviously if we have parental support, then it really does help to have, keep the student engaged and motivate them. And I think because we do have those regular reports, and we're very specific in areas where the student is doing well and areas that they need to work on. There shouldn't be any surprises for parents at the end of the year. They're always kept fully informed via the regular reports. As I say, I think it's 3, possibly 4 reports per academic year. And obviously from the parent, we just expect from them, ideally if they can provide a quiet, safe space for their child to learn and to work, then that would be fantastic. And obviously just to support us as we provide feedback just to keep their child on track.
Interesting. And before we wind up, Miss Helen, every class obviously will have students with different learning abilities, some with great and some with not so great. So you as a teacher, how do you usually handle this challenge of trying to cater to different sort of kids with different learning abilities, and how do you ensure that people with less learning ability also copes up with some of the best in the class, and they also get the most out of the whole atmosphere?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is the challenge, and the whole part of the teacher's role is it's very much about individualized learning, especially at GoSchool. So we're not in a huge classroom environment where everyone has to learn in the same way. We very much have the luxury where we can cater to individual students' needs. So we would, early on, when we first meet the student, we would undertake an assessment just to kind of gauge where they're at, gauge any specific challenges and needs of that student. So we would be fully aware before we start the course of what their specific needs are. We do employ specialised special educational needs teachers. We do have special educational needs experts that work with GoSchool. So for students with very specific needs, they will be involved with the lesson planning. So they will offer their expertise in different techniques that would engage students with particular learning needs. Obviously, all lessons and lesson plans are differentiated. So we make sure that a certain activity that may be appropriate for one student would be maybe changed slightly to make more accessible for another student. Some students need kind of different coloured backgrounds in order to read text, so some types of dyslexia. So we can easily, with modern technology, that can easily be changed. All our resources can be updated in different fonts, different colour backgrounds, but not just that, but also that the actual way in which we teach. And because it's such a small class size, we can be very tailored, very bespoke. And especially with our expert input, they do look at the lesson plans and they will say, actually, this needs to be changed for this student. So it's very much kind of a collaboration with the subject teacher and with the special educational needs experts, and obviously with parents as well, because when the student first comes to us, the parents may have some background information they need to pass on. And obviously we're always happy to work with any other outside agencies. But I think working online or with the hybrid model is ideal in fact for students with special educational needs. If anyone is particularly anxious about learning in a large classroom environment, this takes all that away. So all sorts of types of physical, mental or learning challenges, I think GoSchool is really well adapted. We can adapt easily.
Thank you very much. And in the constraint of time, we had to close the session today, but otherwise we really look forward to seeing you once again and speaking a lot more about the online school and the hybrid school methodology. Thank you very much for your time. Some of your opinions and thoughts that you shared will be of great help for other parents who are looking for good hybrid schools. And thanks once again for your time, Helen. Thank you very much.